Emily Matthews here with one of two webinars on the concept of selling as is. So what exactly does it mean? Actually, not much. This term has never held up in court cases related to real estate. Buyers also still keep their right to ask for an inspection even if you advertise as is. There are a couple exceptions. If, for example, you were a bank and you were advertising as is, everyone knows we don't argue with banks. They do their own thing. Also, investors will buy as is, and they will pay anywhere from 50 to 85% of market value, but they are a godsend for people that just want to get a property gone. There are two types of as is. One is where you're selling as is, but you're not advertising it in the MLS like that. So you might have a house that needs some cleaning. It might need decor being upgraded. It might need a few minor repairs, but you don't want to sell, you don't want to say that it's as is in the MLS. Overall, this house would be in relatively good shape, and the price will be less than if the decor was updated. The other kind of as is advertised in the MLS. You're telling people straight out this house may have some problems. It's sort of a euphemism that the seller will not or cannot make any repairs even if the buyer gets an inspection. It signals to the buyer that they know what to expect. They know to expect that there might be some issues with this property. When you're selling as is in the MLS, of course it has to be advertised at an as is price. And as I explained before, it hints at bigger issues than just decor or cleaning. So what are the implications? Well, when you advertise as is, it could mean that buyers with government loans will avoid the house because they're going to be worried that their specialized type of appraisal will call out things that will mean that they can't get their loan unless they're fixed. And if the seller can't or won't fix anything, you can see why they would be worried about even getting their loan. As I explained before, buyers can still get an inspection. The seller cannot refuse the buyer to get an inspection unless they do a counter taking that out of the offer, and then the buyer accepts that counter. The buyer doesn't have to accept what the seller is suggesting. Buyers may ask for an inspection and not give the seller the right to cure. What that means is if the inspection reveals too many things that the buyer feels they can't fix, when they don't give the seller the right to cure, it means the buyer can just walk away. Appraisers will still evaluate the home, even if you're selling as is, and this language in the MLS will attract more investors. However, a roof is kind of non-negotiable. This is because insurance companies will not insure a house with a roof that has shingles so old they look like cornflakes. This will affect even cash buyers because they want to make sure that their investment is insured. Especially with loans, here's the sequence. No insurance means no loan because lenders need to have the house insured, and that no loan means no sale for anyone who has to borrow money. So as I said, it limits you to cash-only buyers, but even they will care because why would they buy something they can't insure? Sometimes they might take a risk. If some cash investors will do, pay 50 to 85% on the dollar and immediately put a new roof on so they feel like it's not much risk because they're putting the roof on right away. A new roof will net 100% return on investment, and it can be paid for at closing out of the proceeds. It can be escrowed for to be done after closing, and it can be paid for prior to closing. So, golden question, can you sell as is even though you're not a bank? The answer is both yes and no. And this is where the next video comes in.
And that's it for now. This is Emily Matthews here to help you with all your real estate needs. Don't forget to subscribe. It's the little icon with my head on it. Have a wonderful day.